Thursday, November 5. Welcome to CGN News. A United States federal judge has again prohibited enforcement of a Trump administration policy that makes it more difficult for Caribbean and other immigrants to obtain green cards if they rely on public benefits. Judge Gary Federman ruled on Monday that Trump's institution of the public charge rule far outweighed the executive branch's authority, CMC News reported. That court had also ruled that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security did not possess unfettered discretion to change the public charge policy in spite of ambiguity in the provision. Federman allowed the plaintiffs to pursue a claim that the rule was discriminatory under the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution because it was grounded in bias against non-white immigrants. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis has withdrawn from the Caribbean Community CARICOM travel bubble arrangement. This was introduced as a mechanism to facilitate low-risk intra-regional travel during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris made the announcement on Tuesday. He says the chief medical officer was instructed to advise the Caribbean Public Health Agency CARPHA of the decision. Harris said such arrangements with countries with higher risk assessments would expose citizens and residents to elevated health risks. The Nurses Association of Jamaica, NAJ, is raising concern about a number of dengue cases that it says are being overlooked because of COVID-19. The association's president, Patsy Edwards Henry, said, for this reason, persons who have symptoms of dengue are refusing treatment and staying away from health facilities. Edwards Henry said the challenge now faced by public health nurses is that persons are confusing the signs and symptoms of dengue with that of COVID-19. She has called for the Ministry of Health to heighten its dengue prevention and control measures. Jamaicans vying for various positions in the November 3 United States elections experienced mixed results, the Gleaner has reported. Congressional candidate in Long Island, Jackie Gordon, appears to have come up short in her bid to become the first Jamaican-born member of the U.S. House of Representatives. While there are still mail-in ballots to be counted, she's trailing her Republican opponent. On the other hand, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke easily retained her Brooklyn congressional seat, getting the highest percent of votes of any other New York congressional candidate. Donna McLeod held her state house spot in Georgia, as well as Marcia Ranglin Vassell in the Rhode Island State House of Representatives. New York State Supreme Court Judge Sam Walker and the mayor of Lauderhill Lakes in Florida, Hazel Rogers, also retained their seats. Jamaican Carol Sharp was ahead in her contest to be a New York State Supreme Court judge in Manhattan. The Trump campaign said it filed lawsuits Wednesday in Pennsylvania and Michigan, laying the groundwork for contesting the outcome in undecided battleground states that could determine whether President Donald Trump gets another 4 years in the White House. Suits in both states are demanding better access for campaign observers to locations where ballots are being processed and counted, the campaign said. The campaign also is seeking to intervene in a Pennsylvania case at the Supreme Court that deals with whether ballots received up to 3 days after the election can be counted, Deputy Campaign Manager Justin Clark said. Twitter has hidden some of Donald Trump's first tweets the day after a U.S. election, which remains undecided. In one, the president wrote his vote advantage in key Democrat-run states had, quote, started to magically disappear, and in another that 500,000 votes in key states were at risk. The messages are now hidden behind warnings that say the claims are disputed and might be misleading. The moves also limit users' ability to like and reply to the posts. Twitter had earlier taken similar action over a post in which Trump said for the first time that his opponents, quote, are trying to steal the election. Police in Hong Kong have launched a hotline where residents can report breaches of the national security law imposed by Beijing earlier this year. The law criminalizes secession, subversion, and collusion with foreign forces. It has silenced many protesters since it came into force. Hong Kong residents can send images, audio, and video files to the hotline. Rights groups say they are concerned the service could be used to target those with opposing political views. Denmark's Prime Minister said Wednesday that the government wants to cull all minks in farms to minimize the risk of the weasel-like mammals retransmitting COVID-19 to humans. A report from a government agency which maps the coronavirus in Denmark has shown a mutation in the virus found in 12 people in the northern part of the country who were infected by minks. The Health Ministry reported that half the 783 human COVID-19 cases in northern Denmark are related to minks. Denmark is one of the world's main mink fur exporters, producing an estimated 17 million furs a year. According to government estimates, culling the country's 15 million minks could cost up to 5 billion kroner, $750 million. Canadian health authorities on Wednesday reported the country's first case of a human infected with the H1N2 virus, a rare strain of swine flu. The case, detected in Alberta in mid-October, appears to be isolated and, quote, there is no increased risk to Albertans at this time, end quote, local health officials said in a statement. It added that the unnamed patient experienced mild influenza-like symptoms, was tested and then quickly recovered. There is no evidence at this time that the virus has spread further. Since 2005, only 27 cases worldwide have been reported of people infected with the H1N2, not to be confused with the more common H1N1 swine flu virus. Journalists were more likely to be killed in the last 2 years for exposing corruption or rights violations than while covering conflict zones, said a UN report Monday that highlighted a worrying trend. A total of 99 journalists were killed around the world in 2018 and 57 last year, according to the UN cultural agency UNESCO, which monitors media security as part of its role. The 2019 number, it said, was the lowest annual toll in a decade. But while the numbers have declined, the nature of the threat has changed, the agency said in a report to mark the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. The report expressed concern at the high level of impunity for crimes against journalists, with 9 out of 10 cases unpunished. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.